Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Jared Powley's Fragrance Reviews. Tonight we're going to be examining a fragrance from the house of Yves de Sistelle, and this is known as Thallium Sport for Men. The bottle I have is from about 2008, 2009, but I was unable to find a date of when this fragrance came out. So this is the sport version, and there was an original version that I smelled as well some time ago, but I found it to be too sweet in a candy-like way. This one I actually do not mind, and once it goes to the dry down, it's actually a fairly nice fragrance. So I'm going to take this out of the bottle. It's got a little bit of an unusual shaped bottle, and we give the spray in the back of the wrist. So initially, you get a fairly sweet vanilla. You definitely get some anise, but it's got a citrus note that's a little bit sour and kind of burns the nostrils. A little bit of like a carbonated vibe to it. And it's definitely powdery with some peppery notes. So it is an extremely, I would say, a unique opening, but I do find it to be slightly synthetic. As it dries down, you still have the anise, you still have the vanilla and the citrus, still powdery and peppery, but it becomes a little bit floral and even a little bit fruity. And there is pineapple in the note breakdown. So there's a fair bit going on here, but it's still developing. Even though it's drying down, it is not the final dry down. The final dry down comes about an hour in. And the late dry down is a little bit darker, a little bit earthier. You get some woody muskiness, still has some vanilla, ambery notes, but the late dry down in this fragrance is excellent. The problem with it is by that time you reach the late dry down, it has no more projection. It's just pulled into an intimate skin scent. So that's the problem with this fragrance. If it was able to still have some projection for the late dry down, the late dry down would be spectacular. As advertised, the top notes are pepper, lemon, bergamot, and anise. The mid notes are pineapple and water lily, and the base notes are vanilla, vetiver, amber, and patchouli. Performance on this one is average, even maybe a little below average. About 2 to 3 hours, you're going to have to reapply, but this is not a scent that I would apply on your skin. It has moderate projection the first 2 to 3 hours, but like I said, about 3 hours in, when you get to the later dry down, actually about 2 hours in, it really pulls tight to the skin and there's very little projection. I would say this is a sexy fragrance, and I would also consider it, because of a little bit of the synthetic vibe, it does have a modern twist to it. So when people say a modern fragrance, I would say modern fragrances, my definition, are always seem to be more synthetic and sweeter. The vintage, older vibes were more ruggedly in a masculine type of way, and it had more animalic notes to it, more earthy notes to it. So overall, I would say this is a decent fragrance. It's not spectacular, it's not bad, it's somewhere in the middle. But it's not overly expensive. So if you're a young lad in late teens, early 20s, you may want to try this. You may want to get a sample, but always try before you buy. Because if you can get it at a fairly cheap price, I would say this is a sexy fragrance for a young guy. And I think the ladies would like it, because it's definitely got that more of a modern scent to it. But there is a note of patchouli in this as well, which may slightly turn off some of the guys. So, like I said, after when you go into the late dry down, it smooths out. It's a modern scent, and the late dry down, why I like it as well, is because it loses the synthetic feel to it. So I would say this is a decent fragrance. But always try before you buy, and whenever you're trying fragrances, don't rush it, and don't let the salesperson, if you're in a department store, rush you, because they're going to always try to sell you on the initial spray or the dry down about 5-10 minutes later. If you ever get sprayed, wait, go back the next day. The fragrance is still going to be there. Be an intelligent, savvy buyer. Don't rush it. and people get all fanatical about the fragrance or whatever like this. But what you're getting in the initial spray is not what you're going to get 99 times out of 100 in the late dry down. Always be wary of that. So as I smell it now, it's already changing more. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, notification bell. Any comments or questions you have, please leave them down below, and I'll always get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.